Welcome to RANsquawk's morning briefing for Tuesday, 27th of October 2009. Just taking a recheck of some of the overnight news and where we stand at the moment in Europe. Obviously, we did see quite an aggressive sell-off in the afternoon in the US as fears resurfaced over the US banking system, contributing to two factors really. Obviously, on the banks in particular, some speculation now that those banks that received bailout funds may have trouble paying them back, stemming as well from a Wall Street Journal article in regards to Bank of America had been hit by a snag over how much additional capital the bank must raise to satisfy regulators. Also elsewhere, uncertainty whether the Senate will extend the tax credit for home buyers added to the volatility. You see at the close the Dow was down just over 1%, as too as the SPOOs. Nasdaq 100 down around 0.4. Through to Asia as well, with the Nikkei posting its biggest one-day percentage fall in 3 weeks. Nikkei fell some 1.5%. However, in the UK and Europe, we did open marginally higher. It was buoyed somewhat by corporate earnings out of BP, which did, by quite a big margin, exceed expectations on their Q3 nets on one-time charges and inventory number. So BP continued to outperform. However, this morning has been very much the rumour mill in full effect. Financials in particular, as they were yesterday, have continued to underperform in Europe at the moment. One of the notable losers has been Commerzbank in Germany, who have fallen as much as 9%, having seen rumours do the rounds today of potential that they might be guiding the market lower. It remains unconfirmed, but their shares again still down 9%. Allied as well to ING shares, which have fallen down 14% at the low. That's coming after a continued fall from yesterday. Pre-market restructuring and capital raising very much at the forefronts, having been announced in yesterday's session. Elsewhere, just taking a quick recap on some other corporate news, or I should say some other news from China. Firstly, China will stick to its pro-growth policies for the remainder of 2009, but implementation is likely to change, according to a senior banker. In other news, annual growth in Chinese industrial production will accelerate to around 16% this quarter, according to the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. Something from the US, which may get more attention when they start to come into the market. Late yesterday evening, CBC News Network had PIMCO's Bill Gross, who warned that the prospect that at the end of Federal Reserve's debt buyback programs could add selling pressure to several credit markets, including US Treasuries. Also, for the Aussie currency overnight, noting that the measure of Australian business confidence had jumped to its highest in more than 7 years in July-September quarter, while business conditions improved due to rising sales and profits. Elsewhere, out of the UK markets, most notably comments out of Bank of England's newest member of the MPC, Posin, said that it's not possible to gauge precise benefit of QE, but that there is not evidence that Bank of England's QE spurs inflation. Posin also said that surprise Q3 drop in UK GDP doesn't imply anything for the bank's forecasts, which will be published next month in that quarterly inflation report. Looking ahead then for today, 11 o'clock London time, we'll have the CBI Distributed Trades Report for October. That will lead us through then, obviously with the time change, we'll see the S&P Case-Shiller at 1 in London, 8 in Chicago, followed by consumer confidence from the US. Analysts expecting only a marginal improvement for a headline reading of 53.5 today. That'll be at 2 London, 9 in Chicago. And then after tonight's pick close, we'll get the API all inventory numbers. Elsewhere, fixed income markets, we'll have the Bank of England reverse auction later this afternoon, targeting March 2036 to deck 2055 maturities. And then we'll get the 2-year auction from the US today, $44 billion worth, obviously part of the record issuance we'll see from the US Treasury this week. Earnings-wise, very much dominated by US oil companies. We'll see the likes of Franklin Resources, Norfolk Southern, Valero Energy all to report pre-market today.